We plan scenarios and we think about, if I could have done that, if I could have said that, like, I am enough and I am whole. I am perfect for myself, and wherever I go, I'll be enough. There are two things that people usually do. We look for evidences that actually support the thought, and anything that actually, is cut against that theory. We live in a paradigm. We live in a set of rules, and we live in a set of boundaries. And if we don't accept that perspective, we will never actually go out of the boundary. Everybody in a certain age thinks this way, because you tend to think of the most negative. The exposure that we get comes with a certain responsibilities that, follow through. I suppose it's upon me and how I take on to the exposure that I'm getting. So I would say go out for every opportunity that you have, because these opportunities will only come once. And if you don't grab it at that time, you are surely bound to lose something.
An entrepreneur, a cognitive behavioral therapist, and a life coach at the age of 16. You heard me right. We have with us Priya Aswani today. Hi Priya, I welcome you on board to the WitChat show. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, you're a very young individual to have, already have had so many wings on your cap. So I'm sure we all love to know a little bit about it.
Definitely. Well, I'm certainly grateful for having so many opportunities to bring on the wings to my cap. Well, till now, I have achieved being a life coach, an image consultant, an author of a published book called 3 a.m. Thoughts. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, planning to study in the US for my undergraduation. I've done my junior MBA, and I'm a content and creative writer. I've done my internships at top firms as well. And that is much about me.
So, you mentioned your book, 3 a.m. Thoughts. So it's quite an interesting name. So 3 a.m. Thoughts, the first thing that comes is the deepest thoughts we have. And you're at the most peaceful state of our, days. I'm the most peaceful when I'm at 3 a.m. Thoughts. I'm like, wow, great.
It's not that same with teenagers, because when we go to bed, there's several thoughts that come in.
Right.
We overthink about our entire day. We plan scenarios and we think about, if I could have done that, if I could have said that. Those thoughts come in. For example, the thought of why am I not enough comes in. Why do bad things always happen with me come in. So the book talks about a few of these thoughts that I personally have faced as well. There are 9 thoughts that I talk about in each chapter. And in the conclusion, there are several processes that I have covered that help you solve those thoughts, unbind them, and turn those binding thoughts, because these thoughts tend to define your life. If I define myself as why am I not enough, wherever I go, that thought will come in and say, Priya, you're not enough. Back or you back. Correct. And that's why I feel like if you transform that thought into an empowering one, such as I am enough and I am whole, I am perfect for myself, and wherever I go, I'll be enough. And that way, everything that I do, and the thought will push me and not completely bound me, is what the purpose of the book is.
Skills, right? So on this journey of finding what works for you and the process of how to convert this into an empowering thought.
Correct.
I'm sure it's not always how it sounds like, right?
It's not easy.
It doesn't come easy. So if you don't mind sharing, what was your personal journey with discovering your process and what works for you?
Right. Well, as I said, I'll continue with that thought, why am I not enough? That thought actually haunted and tormented me. And I had to, so you don't have to let every thought actually take you to the pain to, change it into a defining moment. So I would say whenever I had the defining moment, a defining moment is basically when that negative thought is formed. In that moment, you might feel into that negative thought. But I would say when you're forming it, I would say you change that mindset completely. You actually take a step back and you make a conscious effort to repeat the empowering one. Now, for example, if I would keep on repeating to myself, I am enough, I would start eventually believing in it. And once I start believing in it, I would actually feel comfortable in that thought and with it. And hence that way I can change my habits. And every day I can do one thing that, pushes that thought further. And that will drill it into my mind.
It reassures you.
Correct, exactly. So there are 2 things that people usually do. We look for evidences that actually support the thought, and anything that actually, was cut against that theory, we completely deny it. And instead of denying it, we actually should look into that perspective of actually why is it denying my personal thought, and if it is it better for me to actually accept that thought? Because we live in a paradigm, we live in a set of rules, and we live in a set of like boundaries, and if we don't accept that perspective, we will never actually like go out of the boundary, I would say.
Right. So, I mean, it's a journey for you. It's taken quite some time. I mean, to come up and write a book, I'm sure you had your own share of ups and downs.
Definitely.
Right. So, like, what were the ups and downs?
I was writing this book when I finished with my 10th grade. I was going into my 11th grade. And when I was doing that, I actually took a year to finish it. The main writing part was done within like 6 months of it. But I wanted the publishing and like the editing process to be exactly how I had imagined or envisioned my book to be. Like the cover, for example, was such a particular thing that I wanted to be about. I actually wanted to like design it several times, pick and choose, and it was an entire process.
It has to come perfect, like like you've envisioned.
Coming to the writing part of it, I actually this 3 or 4 thoughts were from my own, like something that I had experienced, and the others were from my friends, from my peers that I be with most of my times, because they actually tell you their experience. So it's not only like my perspective, but also the perspective of people that I've been around. It's not only that, I feel it this way, and it's like not only that I think these deep thoughts, it's like everybody in a certain age thinks this way, because you tend to like think of the most negative things. And this is why I thought of writing a book. You won't believe it, but actually it was 3 a.m. when I was scrolling through Instagram and just watching stuff. And then it hit me that, we sometimes tend to bound ourselves with our thoughts. So why don't I start every chapter with a particular thought that I've gone through? And I just started like the introduction part of the book at 3 a.m. one day. And then after that, I proposed the idea to my parents and my aunt. And they thought it was perfectly that, it fit my life, it fit, everyone, they would be able to resonate easily.
Yeah.
And that's why I did write the book. And then the process of writing was very easy because I'm someone who loves to write about my emotions. And that's what I did in the book.
I mean, it's a very handful book for like teenagers.
Correct.
We all, I mean, with the kind of competitiveness surrounding and right now.
Yeah.
These thoughts, I mean, they several at a young age. I think not even teenagers. Like I know kids who have such thoughts.
Yeah.
So I like, what are your opinions on having so much exposure to like media and easy access to the internet and a lot of information at a very young age?
Okay.
Someone who's written a book, and I'm sure you've interacted with many people.
Definitely.
What are your views on that?
I would say the exposure that we get comes with a certain responsibilities that, follow through. I suppose it's upon me and how I take on to the exposure that I'm getting. For example, I could have responded to the exposure that I got from my parents and from social media in a very negative way as well. Something that would actually derail my life and would change the path that I want to follow. So I feel like exposure should come with a certain responsibilities that because I am not that aware of what the consequences are. People who are actually have gone through that, listening to them, actually connecting with them is a great way to understand that these are the rights and wrongs, and you could be somewhere in the middle following your right and wrong to actually ensure that it's upon you and how you use the exposure.
Right. And it's mentioned you wrote this book right after your 10th.
Yeah, I was 16 when I finished it.
You were 16 when you finished.
And it was actually a gift to my dad because it was his dream of me writing a book, and it happened so quick.
At the age of 16, I mean, you gave his dream at the age of 16. Yes, absolutely wonderful.
It was a part of his dream, and I felt very good to like gift it to him on his birthday.
Right.
And it was obviously before the launch. It was just like a draft copy, but still it made a lot of difference as to his trust upon me that I will be actually able to, finish his dream, actually achieve our dream. So it's not like his dream or my dream. We've built it together, and I would like to complete it as well.
So, I mean, from what you're saying, I gather that you had a lot of support from your parents.
Very.
Which, at the age of 16, we're somewhere in the society, we're pushed to just put all our energy into like studies, education, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So during this time, you wrote a book, something which I'm sure took a toll with you along with your studies. Somewhere to balance must have been like you had like full support from your parents. Like how big of a difference is it?
I would say if I wouldn't have had that much of support, I would have never thought of doing it as well. Because it's upon them to instill those, thoughts and those emotions in me and actually motivate me to actually go and actually do it. If I wouldn't have had that,
Right.
I would have never even thought about writing a book or even thought about doing courses or, become a life coach. But it's upon them as to how they shape and mold me as a kid. And I would say they've done a pretty good job in actually doing it because right now I have never felt more confident about myself. And that is because of them. So the support that I have, I would say that is my backbone. In this entire journey, I've had them. I would like to share an incident. When I was done with my 11th grade, the summer I went to Harvard Summer School for 7 weeks. And it was 7 weeks being all alone, independent. You're bound to get homesick because you're all the way 1,000 miles away from them. But I would say that I only got homesick once because my dad never let, me feel alone. He used to call me, used to send me messages, voice notes. And that actually kind of like supported me, brought me some comfort, like home is right with me. And that actually empowered me to explore the entire city, the entire place, meet a lot of new people. And I made so many connections that I still have. It feels amazing to have done that and learn so much as well when you're independent because you live differently when you're all alone.
Absolutely.
And
you have your own set of thoughts, your own
Exactly.
experiences without anyone to add any input.
Exactly. And that is what he supported me, that you should go. This is a great opportunity. You have to take it. There's no way I'm not letting you take it. And I was like, that built some confidence in me that, what, if he's so sure about me, I could be that sure as well.
The little push can be so reassuring.
Exactly.
Right? Sometimes.
Definitely.
So your future plans apart, do you plan on writing a few more books, anything that's in the works?
Not right now. There's nothing in the works because I just completed my 12th grade. I'm planning to go for my undergraduation soon. But I would say that I have a few thoughts about writing a series of these thoughts because these are forever definitions. You can't just manage from one book to, make you able to solve a million of thoughts. Because we go through, I would say, 12,000 to 50,000. It's a fact that we go through that many thoughts. And you can't just solve that by reading one book. So I would say you should have like a series, which I would say might be in the works and just mentally right now.
Yes.
Physically, I'll have to write it down soon enough.
That sounds lovely. And apart from this, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would say that after my undergraduation, alongside, I'm also doing my PhD. And I'm doing it in business psychology.
Oh, right.
And with that, I am also planning to intern at a few companies, bringing the whole hands-on experience side of it. Because I'm a learner who, actually would like to do these things and learn. Because all my life, I've not been a one who reads textbooks and understand things. Because I would say that I'm someone who likes to dip in, actually get the entire gist of the place.
Hands-on experience.
Exactly. When I was learning business in my 12th grade, I actually like to join my dad a couple of times, understand what he is doing in his business. I would like to, go into the school and just learn, and everything that I'm learning, apply it somewhere, which is what I would like to continue in the next 5 years. And with that, I would also like to say that, being something is, of course, yes, but I would like to also have something as my personality, I would build it in some manner that actually is empowering and in some way, inspires others as well.
That's great to hear. I mean, that's a good plan. You're 18.
Correct.
And to have so much plan sorted, it's absolutely wonderful. At this age, we're all kind of lost somewhere. We're lost in the race. We're lost. We don't know what to do.
Yes.
I really wish you all the best, and I hope that you succeed in all the plans that you have.
Thank you so much.
Lastly, just a few words to all the young viewers that we have.
I would say being young is not a disadvantage. You actually can do a lot because I would say that I'm a testament to the things that your successes can bring to you. So I would say go out for every opportunity that you have because these opportunities will only come once. And if you don't grab it at that time, you are surely bound to lose something. And not be someone who is like okay with that. So don't be okay with just being okay. You gotta go for the extra mile, you gotta go for the extra step. And that is how you can be beyond rules, I would say.
Thank you so much, Priya. It was lovely to have you on WitChat.
Thank you. If you like this chat, please like, share, and subscribe to the WitChat show.